In this video, we're going to be discussing how to and why you should flush your engine coolant system. I'm doing this on a 98 Chevy K3500 with the 454 big block Vortec engine. Now, some reasons you might want to do this is one, maintenance. You want to do this about every 50,000 miles or every few years. Another reason is if your system's getting clogged up. Right now I've noticed that it takes a while to heat up, and it doesn't really get very warm, the heat that comes out of the dash. And another reason is to change your thermostat. You know, the thermostat, that's what's going to actually open up the cooling system when you are up to temperature. And so yeah, there's a few reasons, and in this case, I believe all the reasons are reasons for changing it. Also, if your fluid expires, that's another reason. Now, to do this, to change your thermostat, how you'll find the thermostat is you follow this top radiator hose to the top of the engine, and you can see there's two bolts holding this down. The thermostat's right under that. But we're going to want to wait for the engine to cool completely before we open up the thermostat, the radiator cap, before we open any of this. We're going to want to let it cool off completely. Might as well check some other things. Looks like I'm low on windshield wiper fluid. I could fill that up here soon. How does the engine coolant reservoir look? It is totally empty. So we'll fill that up as well. For supplies for doing this engine coolant swap, what I got is I got Prestone GM. This is the orange antifreeze. This will be replacing what's in there. This is the Prestone Total Cooling System Cleaner. I'm going to run 2 bottles of that first I'm going to change out, I'm going to put one of those bottles in the coolant system now. I'll run it for a little while. I'll change that out. I'll fill the system with distilled water. Very important, distilled water, not any other kind of water. And I'll put in another one of these bottles and run it for a while longer. It is getting cold right now. It's almost winter. It is November, so I'm going to have to do this during the day when it's warm, and I'm going to have to do this pretty quick because I'm going to have to change it out as soon as it's cooled down before it can get too cold. And then I'm going to finish it off by filling up with this Prestone GM vehicle with DexCool. So that's the plan. And then of course the thermostat, I'm also changing out the thermostat with a fail-safe thermostat. This is designed when it does fail. If it fails, it will fail open. So it might take longer to heat up, but you're not going to overheat your vehicle. So it was only a little bit more. I think this was $22 compared to like $8, and it came with the gasket. So I think that was definitely worth it. So on one of the bottom corners of this radiator, probably going to be this left one, furthest from the fill cap, there should be a drain plug that I'm looking for. But of course, I'm going to want to wait till this is totally cooled off before I pull that plug. So we'll wait for that. All right, now if we look down here, the bottom right of this radiator here, there's what's called a petcock, and it just looks like a little hand screw thumb tab type thing. And we want to do this when the end is cool. It's finger tight. Want to loosen that up until it starts to drain. There it goes. Open that up pretty good. Looks like I'm missing there. And then to get it to go faster, you want to open your radiator cap. I don't fully understand how this radiator cap works, but you gotta push it down and turn it. There we go. Now that almost looks like it's green, which would not be good. Now, what's been happening is this truck is rated for orange fluid, and it's been getting universal fluid put in, which is yellow, which appears to have been turning the orange almost green, which is really not good because that's not the color it's supposed to be. The green, this is not meant for green. This is meant for orange coolant. Alright, now that the fluid has quit draining, I went ahead and shut off the petcock. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 of these bottles of Prestone Complete Cooling System Cleaner, followed by as much of the Prestone Orange for Chevy and GM vehicles with DexCool coolant. That's pre-diluted, 50-50. So here we'll go ahead and add the Prestone coolant flush. I'm going to add this first because I want good concentration of this stuff in there. This is a pretty big engine, 7.4 liters of displacement. Takes between 3 and 4 gallons of coolant, according to Google. You just want to top it off completely. There's going to be air bubbles in there. You got to get all those air bubbles out. We'll want to start the vehicle with the radiator cap open, get the water pump going. That'll suck down some more water here once we get it topped off as much as we can. We'll also want to fill the reservoir, the overflow reservoir. They're starting to burp, as they say. It's got air bubbles coming up as we get closer to the top. We want to fill it completely though. Get all those bubbles out. Once again, this is the Prestone Orange, ready to use, 50-50 diluted for GM vehicles. So we're going to fill this up as well. That looks about right. And then continue filling up the radiator. You'll see it burping here as we're filling it up. This is what they call burping. See those air bubbles coming up? You want to keep filling it until that stops happening and it's just totally full. Chug, 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 chug. Is that it? Another way that you can get it to take up more is you go to the top radiator hose here and you squeeze it. Just like that. That should be sucking in some more. Yeah, that did it. And I totally missed trying to look at the camera. Look at that. Alright, we might be good to start it up for a minute. I want to watch this. You want to keep it filled. You're going to start to suck that water back down. Watching that fluid, we want to keep it full. We also want to keep an eye on the temperature gauge. We don't want that spiking. Probably go ahead and run it for about 10 minutes. Make sure that it comes up to temperature and sits where it should, and then I'll probably run this for about a week, and then I'll dump this and fill it again. Might do that a couple times even. If it does spike, you want to shut it off pretty quick, because that would mean that you ran into an air bubble. So I think I'm going to sit right here for a minute, watch that. Just jump back and forth a little bit. Staying full over here. So I think that means the thermostat might be closed right now, maybe. Maybe that's what that means. And so it hasn't been overheating, so I think that means the thermostat might be working. but I'm still going to replace that here. Pretty easy to do. Just not going to get to it right now. That's pretty much it.